Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I am currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I started narrating the episode with June 2020. In this episode, I am just basically going to finish up the month of June. So here it goes. So June 20 was Father's Day. I spoke to my dad on the phone. Didn't tell him what was going on with me and Ruth, but we spoke. And later on in the evening, I just like, man, I need to get a job. I need to get a job because I need to leave here, right? And if I'm saying, hey, July 31st, I'm out of here, I need to secure something before July 31st. So I was just applying to jobs that evening. And as I was applying, I remember just crying. I remember crying because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I have 10 more days left to figure out how I'm going to pay my ortho bill. I don't know how. I think the payment was like four something, four or five, some four or five. Y'all, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. And I know I couldn't keep dodging them. So it was really consuming my mind and just, I was stressed. I was stressed out. I was stressed out. June 23rd. June 23rd, at this point, I had a week left to come up with the first payment, right, for my ortho bill. I said, I don't know where I'm going to get the money. Let me call my mom. Let me call my mom. I told my mom about what happened when I went to get my braces tightened. My mom was like, why did you go? The vet is outside. Why did you go? I'm like, Mom, listen, I had a visit. I had an ortho visit. Everything was fine. Like, you know. So I told her, I was like, hey, I haven't been making payments. I've been dodging them since 2019 with the payments, and they're asking for something. So I have to make a payment, right? And then she said, well, how much is the payment? And then I said it was for something. She's like, oh, that's too much. She was like, that's too much. She was like, I was like, well, the reason why it's for something because they broke what I had left into three. I believe that was it. They broke what I had left into three. She's like, why can't they just break it into four or five or something like that? And I was like, oh no, that's what they did. She was like, no, ask them. She was like, call them and ask them if you can make four payments. I believe it was four instead of three. So I called, I asked them, and they said I could do it. So I was like, oh, okay. So what I had to pay was I think two something, two or three somethings, one of those. But y'all, it was a while ago. So my mom said, you know what? I'll give you the money for the first payment. I'll give it to you. Y'all, I was so stressed. I don't think y'all understand how much stress I was under in 2020 at this time. But I was like, okay, God made a way. He made a way for me. So that was basically my highlight of June 2020. So I'm going to do a little recap. As far as the job situation was concerned, y'all, I had no job, no, nothing, nothing when it came to work. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Brandon, I was still stalking his Instagram. Now, here's the thing I want to mention. Around this time, Brandon had 97,000 followers on Instagram, y'all. So from the time I knew about him, that was June 2018, he had 30.8 thousand followers. June 2020, 2 years later, he had 97,000 followers, even 97 and some change. And I was like, man, this guy's Instagram is really blowing up. He's almost at 100K. He was training professional athletes. He was also training athletes that had just gotten drafted. Hello. Okay. Um, so he was really doing big things. And I'm like, wow. Like, you know what? I'm actually proud of him. Um, he still needs to get right with Jesus. But as far as like work is concerned and his goals, I know he had a lot of fitness goals. I was like, yeah, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. So that was what was going on with Brandon. Hidden Valley, I was still stalking their website, trying to figure out what type of unit I wanted to move into. So yeah, that was that. Um, Ruth's flooring and carpet was still an issue. The maintenance at her apartment complex were really moving slow. But yeah, that was still an issue. And I was still doing research on Caitlyn, and I talked about that in previous episodes. So that was pretty much the month of June. Yeah, that was pretty much the month of June. Next episode, I am going to talk about the month of July, and that is when I start to see a shift in my situation. You know how I said that, the signs of me crying during devotion, Ruth saying I gotta leave, and me running into Brandon's friend. Those were the signs, and those signs started to manifest in the month of July. So, if you like an unlikely story, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Now, something I do would like to mention that happened in the month of June that I forgot to talk about was that during this time, Brandon was actually following a lot of Christian content on social media. And it seemed like he was in tune to a lot of like Christian sermons and stuff like that. So when I saw that, I thought in my head that, man, maybe there's a shift going on with him and that God is ministering to his heart. So that is something that was happening in the month of June that I forgot to mention.